Hi, welcome to LCL's Maiden Voyage, first episode of Plea to My Daughter. Let me tell you if this episode might be something that's going to be interesting to you. If you're a father, a mother, a sister, a friend of a vaccine hesitant, or if you are vaccine hesitant and you wish to appease or respect the opinion of somebody that is concerned about you, then this may be an appropriate episode. And in speaking about concerned, if you are vaccinated and wishing that to happen to a loved one, for them to experience that protection that you believe is available to them, you're likely to be as confounded by their vaccine resistance as they are confounded about your worry and concern. And this is a phenomena that I've seen firsthand, and I'm hoping you have too, just in order for it to make sense. But let's actually explore why that shouldn't surprise us. Those pro-vaccine folks, we really shouldn't be surprised by that. And our work really started a long time ago. At least a year ago, for sure, with the numbers that we've got here. Well, no, let's talk about the good news first. I'm sorry, we're up to 4.4 billion vaccine doses. That's not people, that's doses. So there's some one doses, there's some double doses, and who knows, maybe some snuck a third dose. But it's a lot of doses. It's more doses of anything than I've ever taken. 4.4 billion. A lot of folks. That's the good news. But back to our work existing long ago. We're going to take a look at what the numbers were last August. Now, this is being made August 2021. Last August 2020, we knew then that 1 in 3 Americans would not get the vaccine. And that is, as you take a look at the top of that Gallup article, even if the vaccine were FDA approved, now it's FDA authorized, but this was fully FDA approved and free. No way, no how, not taking that vaccine. And that was a year ago. Moving into December, just before the vaccine came out, according to that Pew Research article in the middle, we don't have a third flatly saying no, but we have 40% that aren't confident. So how many of those are flatly saying no? How many are just hesitant? I don't know. It's not diced up, but we still have a good chunk of folks that aren't predisposed to jump on the vaccine train. And then about the following AP poll done about a month and a half into the vaccine distribution, those 4.4 billion people that were a month and a half in, we still have a third of adults skeptical about the vaccine. Now, in trying to understand this, I've delved into the world, and what this episode is mostly going to talk about is rhetorical devices and logical fallacies. The first thing that became very apparent to me in everything that I read and everything that I've heard is the culprit, the pro-vaccine culprit that at all costs cannot be trusted is mainstream media. Now, I don't know if mainstream media is Al Jazeera. I don't know if it's Reuters. I don't know if it's BBC, Fox News, Pravda. They're all lumped together as that demon called mainstream media. And that in itself is a logical fallacy. That's a sweeping generalization. If one is guilty, they are all guilty. They all are smoking the same stuff. And in trying to grapple with that, this whole concept of rhetorical devices and logical fallacies, which is going to be, as I said, a subject of today's episode, I just kept ringing through. What is not convincing these folks? Why is mainstream media the enemy? And why do you find the answers with somebody sitting in a house doing something they never thought they were going to do, like me? Why am I even going to be a source of consolation or truth? Well, I'm going to work really hard to try to do that, and I'm going to try to do that without avoiding as best as I can logical fallacies or rhetorical devices. A little bit about my story, I think, is warranted. My story began a couple of weeks ago when my daughter, who was exposed to the virus, or thought she was, got tested. And she bunks regularly with my wife and I in our house when she's in the area. And, of course, we're anxiously awaiting the test, and she's so happy, as we are, when the results were negative, and calls and says yay, and of course I'm saying yay too, and all right, can I come over and crash out, Monk? I'll be in the area. No, you can't. What? I had to say, you've got it backwards. You're not the threat. I am. And now I'm the crazy man. And now there's a division in my family. And now I'm the one nobody wants to talk to because I can't live with even the slightest possibility, as I know from my belief in mainstream media, that I'm packing the virus right now and I could give it to her. I can't even be in the universe of possibilities that transmitted the disease to her. That's something I couldn't live with. That would be, if there was a bad outcome, there might be two bodies in the earth, hers, mine the day following. And if that's dramatic, which it could be, because human beings are very resilient and I somehow survived, I'm telling you, without a doubt, I know it'd be a very feral existence. I would be that wild, crazy, hollow man if indeed that occurred. But, and then to add to it, and this just a week ago, her boyfriend gives me a text and says, hey, just want to let you know, me and my brother are back on the way from New York on our drive across country, and we got COVID. But it's no big deal. I lost my sense of smell for a couple days and my taste, but no reason to panic. It's just like having the flu. Yeah. Well, it's like I just got my head in the wall twice. But I have to thank him for one thing that he did do. He said, hey, I want you to check out this video. It's something you should take a look at. And it is an anti-vaccine video. But I made all the mistakes with my daughter. I said her beliefs were stupid. I went beyond where she gave permission to talk to her about it. And I've learned how you're supposed to talk to folks, the vaccine hesitancy, and I broke every rule in the book, and it's kind of too late to rewind that cartridge. But in any case, he gave me a hook. He gave me, now, because it's been vacuum, I don't know where the information is coming from. I'm just getting glittering generalities, which is, there's stuff on the internet. There's stuff he gives me an actual video. So I decided to respect that provision of information, and I watched the entire thing taking notes. I made 20 bullet points as I went through the video. And those 20 points, I promised him I would respond to. And that was 4 or 5 days ago. So this particular installment is the first response, and I'm going in gentle, very gentle. I'm hoping somehow my daughter watches this, is going to be my fond belief. And the goal of this particular first episode is not to dismiss the truth, except one place. I couldn't help myself. Not to dismiss the truth or falsity of what's being said. My goal in this particular episode is to show a series of clips in where rhetorical devices and logical fallacies are being employed. And some of these names for these things are going to be familiar to you, like red herring, and some you're never even going to have heard of, like post hoc propter. I don't even remember the name of it. When we get to my slide, I'll use it as a cheat sheet and tell you what it is. I know what it means. I've had to crash course study in. I'm not a debate major or a rhetorical person, but I've learned a lot more about this. And I think you probably know what these things are internally, like I do. You recognize it. You go, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm being sold something here. And that being sold something here, alarm goes off, which is another logical fallacy, confirmation bias. So I believe that's also what's happening with the vaccine hesitant. They're able to go out and avoid mainstream media, and they're able to find shelter where folks are going to tell them what they want to hear, that confirmation bias. Like an example is, I'm going to go into the store, I'm going to buy the first pair of shoes that fit me because I'm in a rush, and you go in, you buy the shoes. There's a lot better pairs you could have bought, but this one fits, so it's good enough. You're done. There's no need to shop any further. And that confirmation bias, I believe, is also feeds into this whole ability to be where you need to be. and not challenge, and have your critical thinking interrupted by not going past these rhetorical devices and these logical fallacies. So the video I'm going to get to here shortly in a moment, and we'll play a clip, and then I'll talk about the rhetorical devices, and we'll actually use those terms interchangeably: logical fallacy, rhetorical devices, because I don't know enough to be precise sometimes in defining these two. I just know when it smells wrong, and we should talk about why I know it's wrong and how your mind, when you watch these things, is being preconditioned, regardless of whether what's being said is true or false, being preconditioned to only accept one outcome, that it's absolutely true on what you're hearing. And that my goal here is to suggest that, again, I'm not saying whether it's false. I'm not saying whether it's true, at least on this episode. I'm saying my goal here is to say, wait a minute, I should maybe at least question the delivery of this fact, which then should cause me to ascertain a little bit further whether that fact holds up under scrutiny. It may not. All right, that's what I'm going to do before we move into the first clip, and here we go.